You ever catch yourself thinking, if I'm not in VOO, am I doing something wrong? I used to think that too. VOO, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, is like the golden child of investing. It's what you buy when you want to play it smart, long-term, and simple. So when I saw another investor post their returns way higher than mine, using some fund I'd never heard of, I felt off, like I was missing something, like I was falling behind. Maybe you felt that too, seeing others jump ahead while you stick to the plan. Here's the tricky part. VOO is great, but it's not magic. And sometimes sticking only to it can mean missing out on growth you didn't even know was happening. Not because VOO is bad, but because other parts of the market, small slices, are doing something different. Now, I'm not saying we throw VOO out, not even close. But what if I told you there are 3 ETFs that are quietly beating VOO right now? And more important than the names is how you use them without messing up your plan. So today, we're going to explore something a lot of investors never think about: how to upgrade your portfolio without turning it into a gamble. Because the goal isn't just to beat the market, it's to build wealth that lasts. And the first step is understanding where these surprising gains are really coming from. VOO feels safe. That's the point, right? It's steady. It's trusted. You hear it everywhere, from your favorite finance podcast to your friend who just started investing. It's like the Toyota Corolla of ETFs. Reliable, no drama, easy to hold on to. But sometimes comfort hides risks we don't even notice. Right now, about 40% of VOO's weight is in just 10 companies. That means when you think you're buying 500 different stocks, you're actually leaning hard into just a few big ones, mostly tech giants. That's not bad. It's just not as diversified as it sounds. And here's where our brain plays tricks on us. We like comfort. We like feeling smart. So we stick with what's familiar, even when the numbers are telling us, hey, something's changed. But what if some of the strongest gains right now are happening outside those big names? What if smaller, focused ETFs are quietly beating VOO and most people don't even notice? Let's talk about why that's happening, and more important, why most investors struggle to actually benefit from it. Beating VOO in the short term is easy. A lot of funds have done it over the past year. Momentum funds, sector funds, high-risk funds. There's no shortage of flashy tickers showing off better returns. But keeping those gains, holding on to them without panic, regret, or chasing something new, that's the hard part. Because what wins one year often doesn't the next. A simple chart would show it. 1-year return, different winner every time. 10-year return, much more stable. That's the game. Anyone can look smart short-term. Few have the patience to win long-term. This is where we flip the myth. The goal isn't to find the best ETF. The goal is to build the best plan, one that matches your goals, your risk, and your behavior. Because in the end, the best fund isn't the one with the highest return. It's the one you'll actually stick with. Some investors don't want to guess which stock will do well next. They want a system, something that says, just give me the winners right now and update it as things change. That's what a momentum ETF does. One of them, called SPMO, has done just that. Over the past year, it's returned around 24%. Compare that to VOO's 18%, and you start to see the difference. It's not magic, it's just math and motion. Momentum investing works on a simple idea. Things that are already going up often keep going up, at least for a while. This ETF looks at stocks in the S&P 500 and picks the ones that are leading. It doesn't guess the future, it just follows the trend. That feels smart, because it is smart. But here's the part people miss. Momentum can turn fast. When those hot stocks cool down, this fund can drop hard. That's the trade-off. And we have to be honest about our own behavior. We like what feels good right now. When something is rising, we feel drawn to it. When it drops, we feel like bailing. That's why this isn't an all-in ETF. It's a sidecar, something you add to your main plan, not something that replaces it. If you can stay calm during the dips, it can be a powerful tool. Now, if that felt fast, wait until you see what's next. The next ETF moves even more, but it cuts both ways. Imagine putting a gas pedal in your portfolio. When the market goes up, you go up faster. When the market drops, well, you drop faster too. That's what a high beta ETF is like. One of the most talked about ones right now is SPHB. Over the past year, it's returned around 35%. That's nearly double VOO. On paper, it looks incredible. But here's the key idea. This ETF holds the most sensitive stocks in the S&P 500, the ones that react the strongest to market moves, up or down. If you drew two arrows, you'd see it clearly. One arrow going up higher when the market rises, one arrow dropping lower when things fall. That's the deal. Bigger swings both ways. And that's why this kind of ETF isn't for everyone. You can't treat it like your main strategy. It works better in small doses, and it works best if you're willing to rebalance it, trimming when it runs hot, adding carefully when it cools. Most people forget how bad things can get during a downturn. We trust the good times too much, and that's where overconfidence sneaks in. But if you understand the speed and you control the size, this ETF can give your plan a boost. Just don't forget to wear your seatbelt. Now here's the kicker. Both of these funds have done well, but the next one, it's the best performer of all three, and it's not even focused on the whole market. It's something very specific and very surprising. Here's the one that shocked me. The ETF that quietly crushed both momentum and high beta this past year wasn't even a broad market fund. It was focused on one narrow slice of the market, aerospace and defense. The fund is called XAR. Over the last 12 months, it returned over 70%. Compare that to VOO's 18%, and it feels like you found a cheat code. But before your brain says, I want all of that, slow down. This is a sector fund. That means it only invests in companies from one part of the economy. In this case, planes, rockets, drones, satellites, and defense contractors. It works great when the world is paying attention to that sector. And that's what happened. Between increased defense spending, global conflicts, and renewed interest in space tech, this niche had its moment. But here's the thing about moments. They come and go. Sector bets like this can sprint ahead, but they can also sit still for years. If the demand cools or policy changes or people stop paying attention, the returns slow down too. Still, our brains are drawn to big numbers. That 70% return lights up something inside us. We want it. We think maybe this is the one. But that's the moment to pause, because chasing that feeling often leads to regret. So instead of asking, how can I get all of this, a better question is, how can I use this without messing up my plan? This is how I think about it and how I actually invest. I start with a strong, simple base. That's VOO. It holds the biggest companies in America and gives me long-term growth, low fees, and broad coverage. Then, around that, I add small satellites. These are the ETFs we just talked about: momentum, high beta, aerospace, and defense. I don't go heavy on them, just enough to tilt my portfolio toward areas of strength without taking on more risk than I can handle. If you drew it, it'd look like a big circle, VOO, and three little circles floating around it. That's the visual. Core, and satellites. This helps me stay grounded. It also helps me act more like a builder and less like a gambler. I'm not chasing heat. I'm designing a plan I can actually follow through ups, downs, and everything in between. And before I ever buy a hot ETF, I ask myself one simple question, and I'll share that with you in just a second. Before I buy any hot ETF, whether it's momentum, high beta, or sector-focused, I ask myself one question. Can I stay calm if this drops a lot? Not will this go up, not what did it do last year, but can I emotionally handle this thing going down 25%, maybe 40%? Because most plans don't fail because of bad investments. They fail because our feelings take over. We panic, we freeze, we sell low, and then we blame the strategy when the real problem was how we reacted. So imagine a simple dial, a stress test meter. If this ETF turns red and your emotions spike with it, maybe it's not a fit. But if you can hold steady, if it's just a slice of your bigger plan, then maybe it belongs. That one question has saved me from chasing hype more times than I can count. So now it's your move.
Yes, these three ETFs have beaten VOO in the short term, but the real win isn't chasing returns. It's learning how to use them safely, smartly, and with a clear plan. Next time, I'll walk you through the three-bucket ETF system I use, a simple way to stay calm even during market crashes without giving up growth. But before you go, let me ask you this. If you could only add one satellite to VOO, which one fits you best? Momentum, high move, or sector? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. And if this helped, hit subscribe. You're not just watching, you're building. And I'm right here with you.